Good evening and welcome to my fight show. I'm Mika Frankel. CageMinds.com is my website. Shout out to Talk ABQ for helping me put all this together. We got a big show in store for everyone this evening. Lot planned. We'll see you come for first off. Katherine Lindenmuth will be joining us tonight. We're going to get an update on her story, what's going on with her, the WBA, where does the title sit. Also, this weekend, she will be live at the Legacy Boxing Promotions, giving a helping hand to us at the website. Katherine will be there in coverage alongside Franklin Romero, who will be doing the photography for us. So we've got Katherine lined up, efforting, expecting. We did tease Taylor Starling to be here tonight. Taylor Starling, Vespi, ahead of her Misfits Boxing match. Hopefully that one's going to come through. We also have Aiemann Zahabi. Yes, the number 7 ranked UFC Bantamweight is going to be joining us. And Muay Thai fighter Nicholas Gjelaj, Rep Jackson Wink. He was training fighters out of Kingdom Muay Thai and now currently residing in Thailand. I think he's actually going to be there for a couple years and has already had a couple fights delayed. I'm going to have a few stories coming from Nikki Fights on Instagram. Nick Gjelaj going to be joining us. I'm looking forward to this episode. I'm back from an excited Vegas. Was there live at the UFC 323 event. Historic. Merab Dvalishvili actually dethroned Peter Yan, now disputed UFC Bantamweight champion. You also, it was in wild fashion, UFC flyweight champion Joshua Van, and one more today on MMA After Hours with Michael Carlisle. You check out that one everywhere you get your favorite audio podcast. We're available on every platform, and we go in depth. UFC 323. We go up to UFC 324, 325, 326, UFC Houston. So many quarter announcements, Q1 announcements, if you will, from the UFC about what we're going to be seeing for them in their debut on Paramount. Not to mention, we get UFC Vegas 112 this weekend, the final UFC card on ESPN Plus, the end of the alliance, the end of the partnership, whole preview, news, everything UFC. We talk it. MMA After Hours. That one is already up everywhere you get your favorite podcast. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. We appreciate you all for watching. _SN across Instagram, TikTok, X, the rest of the social media. The new episode is up on the MMA side. Pro Wrestling After Hours. We will have that episode up tomorrow. Yes, John's last match, the AEW Continental Classic. What's going on with the crowning of the first women's tag team champions? We get to all of that on Pro Wrestling After Hours. Me and Michael Carlisle, that one dropping tomorrow. I already know what we're going to be talking about, though. Kind of already had the show meeting and lead up, so I could come do this show with you guys on the pro wrestling side. Don't forget, I got my shirt on. Just got it this week. The Stinger, Little Day, Duke City Toys, 522 for the Sting meet and greet, available on Hold My Ticket. It's from 11 to 2 p.m. That's from our friends at Duke City Toys, who support our other friends over at Duke City Championship Wrestling. Still one more event left on the calendar. It's December 27th at the El Rey Theater. It's the last light. Tickets are still available for that one. Don't forget, every Saturday, I joined Mike Adams from Mike Adams 2.0, ESPN Radio Albuquerque, 1017 The Team. Episodes of that show are all available on Apple Podcast and Spotify, where we go all around the magical world of sports and entertainment. According to Mike Adams, throwing in music, throw in all kinds of just whatever Mike is vibing with on the day. Couldn't do this with the help of a local. Listen, Gabe's Fades, 100 Coors Boulevard, Northwest. That's Lobo Plaza, the northeast corner at the Central and Coors intersection. The shop with the old school heart, the new school innovation. It's the holiday season. You're trying to look your best. Maybe there's a look you've been thinking about trying. Giving yourself the best chance for that look to be a knockout this holiday season? Get a cut at Barber Gabe's Fades. Book online. Barber Gabe's Fades. Walk-ins are well. I'm telling you, you book and you know you're gonna get in. You're gonna love the individual attention. Coming up first on our guest list tonight is going to be Katherine Lindenmuth. She's going to be checking in with us, giving us a little bit of preview of this weekend's boxing questions for her. Catch up on her career. Last week, a busy one. Me in Vegas, that wasn't the UFC. All the buzz. Usually the main thing, you know, like our friends at BKFC Boxing capping on 2025 in America. It was Rolando D going into enemy territory, a second round down, battling through left eye damage. I'm no doctor. There's a potential. He got against Liam Reese, went title challenger. Re-established in the division to shout out to Orlando D. That gave Lee Chadwick a first round knockout. That was met by fellow English MMA stalwart Jack Marsh, who we've seen in UFC. An 11 fight, 7 knockouts, 4 in the first round. Don't forget in the new year, Vice TV, just like it was Friday night, to keep up with all the bare knuckle boxing to check out what's going on in the mighty Trigon. Child, world of bare knuckle, who hopefully later we're going to be joined Starling, BKFC this past weekend, away from South Beach. And the main event, once again, the victor in this, the rematch still gives us the same result. All out victorious over Luis Palomino, the BKFC 85 main event, the accuracy, strategical boxing, the damaging, just utterly ridiculously damaging jab of Austin Trout closing up the left eye of Luis Palomino. Palomino visibly upset. He still had a right eye. He wanted to continue. There's an argument to be made. Should he have been allowed to? This is all in fighter safety. You don't want anybody losing an eye. You've seen this past weekend with the Alessandre shoulder, elbow, this arm dislocation. Starting about what part of the arm it actually was. Dominic Cruz suggested it should be up to the fighter if he's in peril, whether he wants to continue fighting or not. Luis Palomino is on board and seconds that platform that Dominic Cruz is standing on. He wants to run for candidacy on that policy. I think that Palomino is along with him. I don't care if that's the warrior Palomino is. And also someone that we've talked about it with Nathan Rivera before. Bare knuckle Mount Rushmore infamy. I think it's a hard pill to go 0-2 against Austin, a 2 champion. And now Trout is weight classes and had the superior outing and the superior result. This time you open up a cut, you earn the finish, definitive. You didn't need the judges' scorecards, and Trout moves on now to the finals of this lightweight tournament. He's going to take on Franco Tenaglia, the big power punching Argentine, ridiculously aggressive. I thought he was outmoved, outthought, and outworked Ben Bonner. I thought he had the more accurate punches and making to look quite simply foolish with the way he was charging in. That night did not go in Ben Bonner's favor. Note of it himself. And I think that Trout believes that he will be in a great predicament to be able to outbox Franco Tenaglia. So it's another big victory, setting the sport on fire. The domination that Austin Trout has had. We've seen boxers go into bare knuckle. We've seen MMA fighters go into bare knuckle, but winning it on a scientific level, Austin Trout continues to do it and is fighting, but nothing but the best that BKFC can offer. Really interested to see what happens when we get the Trout Tenaglia fight, because to this point, the bigger punchers have had effect. Palomino has won some rounds, but no one has really been able to truly hamper, hurt, and throw Austin Trout off of his game. And that's been the specialness of his ability to control the range, the pivot that he implies, and the improvement is Muay Thai. A lot of us had talked about it. Co-main event, well, a close fight. It felt like there was a difference, and that advantage went in the favor of Justin Ibarrola. That is out. Justin Ibarrola with the big right hand. He is able to up Ryan Reber. So this is twice as the bridesmaid, twice getting up to that title opportunity, and a hard pill to swallow from a Ryan Reber who had already lost in the title situation to Blast, went down, adjusted back a better version, and now, unfortunately, he's tinkering once again. But huge props to Justin Ibarrola, who has lifted up everything that people thought he was. And then it was the physicality and the power, as many speculated it was going to be, that led to success. At the post-fight press conference, there was some chatter between Ibarrola and Kai Stewart. Beksad Usmanov is out there. We have Keith Richardson. I think there's a lot of options for Justin Ibarrola, but it's intriguing now to see the Bantamweight division have a champion BKFC. And we'll be talking more about BKFC 85 here in just a moment. We're first segment in. We have Katherine Lindenmuth coming up in just a moment. She's going to update us about what's going on in her life, her camp. She's talked to the WB, and we all review Legacy Boxing continues to this Saturday. Kiva Auditorium Boxing returns to the Duke City. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. Little bit of an adjustment, was made aware that the stream was not working as I would like. So at this point, we had to make a slight adjustment. But here we are, getting back to the show now. Little bit of a different angle on the development, a little bit different sounding. Hopefully, everything's going to come together. We were breaking up there a little bit, made a change right now. My Fight Show, episode number 5. Appreciate everyone checking it out. Got some time after the show, go over, check it out. cageminds.com is the website. Huge week out in Vegas, a lot of breaking news from the UFC. We had recaps up from Karate Combat. Definitely got to talk about that here later when I have some more time. BKFC, Austin Trout making it to the finals of the BKFC lightweight title tournament. Can't wait to see him battle Frank Tenaglia in 2026. And it looks like right now, coming to the stage, just about to message her, was wondering if we're going to get her on. Katherine Lindenmuth should be joining us. Gonna try to add her in right now, bring her in on the show.
Hi.
Hey, Katherine, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Internet issues.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Little PC? Let me try something else. I'll come right back in, okay?
Heard Katherine. She wasn't hearing me fully. We're going to see if we can get that connection right back. We got an update coming from Katherine about what's going on with her in the WBA. We also hear that and want to share with you guys. She's going to be doing some boxing coverage for Cage Minds. Yep. She'll be there this Saturday night. The legacy continues to Abraham Perez, main event, NABA title fight, boxing returning to the Duke City. So hopefully Katherine will be back just a moment, trying a different device. I was talking about BKFC. We've got Austin Trout, Barola, both of them successful endeavors on Friday night at Sun Hard Rock. I want to bring up that now 10-0, still a knockout. This time it takes to the third round. He is somewhat human. La Sombra, Leonardo Perdomo, we're even talking about him with media members at the UFC event. The guy is becoming that well known in general as one of the most devastating knockout artists in combat sports. Corey Willis was able to hang in there till the third, but still succumb to Perdomo's power. Can't wait to see Perdomo fighting Ben Rothwell. Katherine, looks like she's back. We're going to try to bring her in one more time.
All right. Is this better? It work better?
Back in a familiar venue.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Now we can
That's
hear you loud and clear and back in a familiar setting, away from the kids and in the car.
in the car. Yeah, I have such terrible service inside of my house. If I step out and just turn off my Wi-Fi, it's good.
It looks like nothing is official, but did we see, was there a social media, at least a post from the WBA? Have there been a couple developments, as we'll say in your story?
There's a little bit. We are still waiting for my year-end analysis, but that wasn't a determining factor on this. But we still want to make sure, just for the fans, for the people, so they can see and they can know all the accusations were false. But the WBA, I have been in touch with them. I had there was others that were in touch with them as well. but they did honor my win, my split decision win. It is not a no contest like the opponent tried to send to BoxRec to tell them it was ruled a no contest. And they're requesting immediate reinstatement on with the change on BoxRec. And hopefully, hopefully it'll put some pressure to get paid. I'm not holding my breath, anything is nice, but that belt is so sweet. I was not stripped. I don't think they ever intended to strip it. It was all accusational from the other party.
I think the belt, and obviously that's the trinket you want, but I think that's the only form of payment or kind of prize that you're going to get in this scenario. But you do get to keep it now. The WBA said there's no need to package it up and send it back, right? Hold on to it.
Yeah, no, they said that it was a legitimate win, that there's no error on their part. They have me listed as the WBA Gold Super Flyweight champion. It's a world championship. It's just like slightly under the standard championship. It's like how WBC has the silver, WBA does the gold. But no, I'm listed. I'm ranked number 2 in the world super flyweight. Not too sure how, that makes you giddy, but I definitely still fight at minimum weight. It was nice to go up and win that, that hardware.
Like, does it feel does it give you that adrenaline rush, almost like winning the title again, getting the gratification, getting that someone is justifying what they were trying to argue against you?
It feels like there's a lot more peace with it. Like there's that, giddy, excited, like that's such good news when I'm so happy, smile ear to ear. But it's just this piece, like I knew that I went out there and did a job. I didn't do anything wrong. We faced some crazy stuff after the fight, just trying to get back, and it's all culminated to, it's just like this piece, like you did it, it's, there's nothing to prove. I knew there was nothing to prove. It's just getting it right in the eyes of what people see, it meant a lot to me. And I've got that loud and proud. We've already taken our pictures for the gym, and I'll be there at the fights this weekend with my belts and some pictures and stuff, pretty
Oh
excited
yeah,
about all
no,
of it.
I've already been live for 30 minutes. I keep announcing I'm going to put you to work this weekend.
Yes, I'm going to work, but this is the fun work. This is where you have so much fun doing the work. It don't feel like work.
It feels like combat sports is a big world. When you look at it, when you're a fan, you're like, everything's so big and grand. And then when you kind of start getting into the world, you realize how small it is. You start seeing the same coaches and the same people when you're going to tournaments, and you get that familiarity. So with you having been to so many places in just the boxing community, what was the response that you're receiving as the story is garnering just more and more mileage?
Honestly, it's just been support. I've said from the beginning, I went out there and did my job, and my fans spoke for me. Not even my fans, people that saw it. I gained more fans, and more viewership. I'm known on the Asian circuit. I'm known, in that area, and people are seeing me, and it's what broadens what is so small, but it is still so small because you're right. It's a lot of the same people, a lot of the same familiar faces, promoters you're dealing with, matchmakers you have to contact with, the sanctioning bodies, the heads of all of them, getting to speak with them. It does bring it down to such a smaller, more manageable thought, but I don't know, like getting to see all these things, it's just broadening my view. Um, it is like this, the same kind of people everywhere, and I'm getting to understand a lot of the ways, a lot more things work the same. And it's how everything's kind of in the same cycle. Some things work the same way.
With what happened, and also you're starting to see the response. And I know one of the bigger social media posts that was also put out there is, look at this story, fighters beware of what can happen taking fights in another country. Has it kind of deterred you from wanting to go and possibly take another wild trip around the world?
You know what? It doesn't. You want to beware. It just makes you understand the things you need to have on your side, be ready for. Just makes me more prepared. Definitely doesn't stop me from wanting to travel, wanting to take fights in other countries, but it does. It created some advocacy. I understand, we think about, oh, I'm going to go do something. I just hope I get paid. And you think the person's honest. There's ways to secure and protect yourself. And thinking of that just differently, it's not just going to like another city and fighting and oh, I'm just a state away. It's going to another country and making sure you're safe, you're secure, you've done everything right. If you're worried about payment, here's something that you can do. And then I think that advocacy for others, it's not deterring me. It makes me just want to speak out more. How many people has this happened to? And we know on her fight list that this has happened to, that they've reached out, they've spoken out, people know about it. But I want to bring bigger advocacy, because this is not the only promoter, the only person, that is doing these things. And I feel like it makes boxing better when people stand up for something that's just ridiculously not right, not just, oh, slightly off. No, there were so many red flags in this. I feel like it just makes me smarter and makes me protect myself and my team better.
From how this situation has played out, from how tumultuous the environment was, it's a huge accomplishment to become world champion. But has there been a thought process of, was this really worth it? And were there enough red flags that maybe we should have just canceled this opportunity?
Honestly, dealing with other people who, say, well, do you think it's worth it? You went out there and you went through all this work. I think, the experience is worth everything. Yes, it made it a little bit harder. I'm a single mom. Like, I have 3 kids that I'm raising, and Christmas is a lot smaller this year because I'm not able to do as much as I would have been able to do. And graciously, my kids understand. They've kind of, just being a single mom for so long, they understand some years are not as big as others, and they're very gracious, and they understand, where it comes from, and we all work hard, and they usually get gifted all year long as I can. So, it just, you have those people that want to say, well, that wasn't worth it. Why do you keep doing, why would you do something like that again? I think it's completely worth it to go and bring back that belt. And it's the experience. When are you going to get these experiences? And I've always said, if you're not willing to take the risk, you're not willing to get the gold. Like, it must not, you're not worthy to get it if you're not willing to risk it. And, you take that risk doing things, even getting into a fight, doing a bout with somebody. She was 3 weight classes above me, So, I mean,
You have been
I took a risk.
You've been that risk taker. Where did that mentality, when did this develop? Because I'm sure it was prior to being a boxer.
Honestly, I feel like the loss and the trauma that I've experienced in my life makes me appreciate the good things that I've had, even though I may not have them anymore. And that I'm blessed to experience them. And then, in the same token, I'm still blessed when they're taken. It just brings me to something different. And, I'm here. I'm still breathing. I'm still working hard. I'm still very, very blessed in my family. You know, it's, I feel like just everything I've gone through has kept me humble, humble to like just being grateful for where I'm at and what I have and what I've been able to do. Um, I've always just decided, if you're not going to do it, you can't say the what ifs. Those what ifs burn worse than the losses of doing it. Like it hurts to think, well, what if? And I've lost so much. And there's so many what ifs that I have from all the things I've lost. I was like, I don't want to live like that. I want to live with, the experience, good or bad. And I know I've gone to fights, out of country. Like I went to fight Kim Clavel, amazing fighter, gave everything I had, gave her some wicked competition. Didn't I come up a little bit short, but that experience I wouldn't trade it for nothing. That level up I got, everything that I took in turn from that, I would never give it up.
Risk taker, thrill seeker. Like, do the boys brag about you, or is it like a humble brag? Because no kids bragging about their mom, but not many kids. The mom is, oh, my mom's gonna go fight on Saturday. You know what I mean?
They're bragging a little bit more now. This one was a little bit bigger. I always laugh because my son likes to tell everybody I'm in the UFC and I am not in the UFC. Um, just because I fought on the UFC fight night, I have to correct him. I'm like, I don't know if I want that smoke that's coming back to me saying I'm in the UFC. But it's good to hear them being proud of me, and they like to brag a bit. I'm a substitute at Los Monos Public Schools, so I get to see a lot of kids who look up to me, or a lot of kids that have seen me that know me. My kids have bragged to them about me, and it's really just nice to be a part of helping them grow and just a part of the community. It's really fulfilling. I love it.
We know you being a part of the community is huge, and that's part of what drew you to. I'm not going to say the words bugging. Well, I just did, but you were very enthusiastic about Mika. I'll help, and you've went to many media outlets, and you want to be involved. And this weekend you're going to be there at the Legacy Continues too. What have you seen out of the development skills and the harrowing story of overcoming the near life death situation of our headliner this week, Abraham Pettis?
Honestly, Legacy is great job setting up such a jam-packed, action-packed, can't miss it fight. It just they're always putting on such a good card, and Abraham with his story, it's perseverance. I feel like it's the New Mexico way. It's how we all live, breathe, and we die by that, that never give up. And all of the fighters on this card are pretty representative of all of that. And I think it's going to be a really good lineup. I think we're going to see some really good challenges and fights on this card. Just watching it develop, watching it put together. I wish I could be a part of it. We had so much going on when we came back, keep looking for me on the next one. We're still looking to, defend that WIBA. But right now I'm excited just to be there on Friday. Looking for that another title for Abraham, and just to continue to solidify, he's like, I went through stuff and watch me keep going. If anybody says I couldn't, watch me keep doing, and with other fighters on the card as well. It's going to be great.
I think this one's a little more heated than the situation that you were in, but Quentin DeLeon, Austin Lewis, former sparring partners. This was about 7, 8 years ago. So it's a unique situation when you fight someone that you've sparred. You've been in that position before. How unique is entering that experience?
It's kind of drawing the line. I know Amanda and I got in that position to where, you know, it was the mom fight. You know, we got in the ring, we duked it out, and both her and I can both agree, you know, having that prior experience, a part of that, you've got to really separate that sparring from the actual fight, because at some point you find yourself almost pulling back like you would in sparring, but you need to keep going. This is different. This is the fight game. So it's just really like switching that on. I think Austin's got that switch. He's the animal. I believe that he can flip that switch and see it differently. But I know that that's kind of how it feels. Like you say, no, we gave everything. Well, we did, but I could feel myself, you know, kind of relating it back to when we're sparring, and it almost pulls you back a little bit. And it's hard to realize that you feel like you're giving everything you can. And I know her and I've talked about it. Like, it was a great fight, and you know, we think we gave each other all we had. But there's that moment where you think back, oh, it just reminds me of sparring so bad. You want to not put yourself back in that headspace, back in the home ring at the gym, where you don't have to go as hard, you don't have to have that championship round to get through it. You're just working. It's more than work, you know. And you know, hope, you know, I know Austin, I mean, going through like bare knuckle and stuff, he brings the heat. So he's got that switch, he turns it on, and I think we're gonna see some big stuff from that fight.
We have two rematches also on the card. Elijah Martinez, Damian Munoz. They actually just fought like 6 months ago in Amarillo. Martinez, I believe, came out victorious in that equation the first time. And 1 years in the making, Manuel Eastman, upset-minded. I saw him knock out Cody East and shock everyone at Buffalo Thunder one time. He rematches Leonid Grachov. What is the mindset? You've had to do it in the amateurs with the small crop of women that there are locally to go into a rematch. What is that like to be comfortable, but also bring out something new to surprise that adversary that thinks they know you?
Well, it's just like you fought them before, you fought their style, but you have to anticipate the changes to their camp that they're going to make. So the changes they make for you, the changes they make for themselves to get around your game, and how are you going to just that switch inside the ring, like adjust your game if they adjusted theirs. Um, you've really got to think of it as a different fight, a different fighter. You can get overconfident. You're like, oh, I fought them before, I don't need to push as hard. You really have to think of it as a brand new fighter. Think of them like they're 10 times better on their game, that they worked extra days that you didn't work, so that you keep that mindset sharp, that you don't allow, you know, maybe if you did win that last one, it to slip into you allowing some things to go that have them edge it by a split decision. It happens all the time. It happens like in running. I know I've raced people before, and you know, I see the same people at all the 5Ks here around Albuquerque, and I'm like, oh, I know I've beaten that girl before. I've won first place before. You can take a little bit of, you know, take a little stride off, and you figure you get beat by seconds, and then that's frustrating. So I mean, with Manuel Eastman coming coming in against the, you know, Baby Drago, they've, ooh, sorry, my lights went out. But with Manuel Drago and Manuel and Drago, they fought each other, and it was a good fight. But they've adjusted so many times. They've got to almost bring out a different person, because it's a different fight. No, you know, as a spectator watching that, you don't want to see the same fight. You know, you don't want to see the same rematch. You want to see you want to see something different, something improved, something, you know, something wild, you know, a wild KO or something, you know, something, pull something out of that trick back pocket of yours, you know, that you've been waiting to pull out on somebody. Just being that different fighter. I think that's a really big key to rematching, at least, because you can't be the same person.
And then we also got two of the biggest names in Albuquerque boxing and been that way for quite a while. I'll say it, from home to the new generation. Once Austin Trout was kind of fighting on the global scene, Josh Pitbull Torres was the guy that carried the flag for the sport in this state. Great to see fan bases, and I think you got to sit ringside to see them both fight long
Mhm.
before you were even a pugilist yourself.
Yeah, I mean, they're just to see both of them on the same card is epic in my opinion. That's why I think this card is so magnificently stacked that, the local fan favorites and their big names just to see Josh get in there
Not
again.
sure if Catherine can
Um,
hear me or if
you know,
Catherine might.
can you hear me? Might have dropped a bit.
Now I can hear you. You would,
Oh, okay, good.
yeah. Now we can hear you. Now
No,
we can see you again.
so okay, good. So I mean, like I was saying, that this is such a magnificently stacked card. um, with all the hometown favorites and then the bigger names just to be together. I find it so epic. And I'm just going to tell you, when we all get in the back and we're all back there together, it's so fun just to have all of us, even the bigger names, like together. It's very interesting. We all have a good time. Yeah, we're warming up. Yeah, we're getting ready for a big fight, but it's all fun. It's all the love of the sport back there. Um, I'm excited just to kind of get those vibes again. Walking back there and checking on all the fighters as they're getting ready for their matches. But you know, Josh always puts on a great show. He brings the Lord into the ring with him every time, and he's always glorifying. I love to watch it. I love to be a part of it. It's always a moment. And then Christian, seriously, his crowd is so loud, so supportive. Fill the arena, fill the area. It's crazy, and the ref, I would have to say, it's like the hometown basketball team. That ref better not call nothing controversial. You're going to get a louder crowd than you can be, booing or whatever. It gets crazy. Like, it's going to be a really fun show. And just to see those two showcase all of their skills, it's what we live for. We love it. We love our families and everything we do on the side, but this is all fun and games here. We did all the hard work before. This is the fun part. So I'm excited to see them have a little fun in the ring.
Catherine, thank you for the update. Everyone say hi to her, grab a photo on Saturday, and she's going to be there doing coverage for Cage Minds. So check that out on the website. Thank you for stopping by tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and always a pleasure to join you from my car.
From the spot, basically. That's tradition by now, everybody. Catherine in that car. We thank her again. We'll have more updates when they finally, overturn that no contest to the official win that it should be. But the story is progressing in the logical manner that we all expected it to. Crooks don't get with this in boxing. It's good that the community is speaking. The community is coming together. Boxing is back in Duke City. We've got a whole lot more My Fight Show to come. We still got Taylor Starling Vespi on the docket. We still have Muay Thai fighter Nicholas Gjelaj, and expecting the number 7 ranked bantamweight in the UFC, Aiemann Zahabi, to drop by. We're going to talk more about BKFC 85 in just a moment. I think you can kind of see me. It's going to want to work for a minute. We're back. Shout out to the 3 people trying to watch me as all this chaos was ensuing. I really do appreciate you guys. If I could tell you about the gremlin that just attacked my internet, tried to bite through the cord. Um, we're now live again. So I'll be honest. This is, and then all of a sudden, wanted an update, shut down, try to go back to the other device. The other device still doesn't have a strong as connection, or maybe this all just damn me because I shouldn't have let Catherine go. I guess lesson learned on me, but we're through stuff. We're still efforting all of our guests. We got 3 more still coming up here in the second hour. I'm hoping that you guys can see me and hear me. That's the biggest hope for this endeavor right now. Uh, we'll have the time, and we're waiting to see if another we're seeing uh, the well, we're waiting for our next guest. Let's get to that point out. Next guest expected to be Taylor Starling. Gets me into the thought of BKFC. So know that she's going to be putting the gloves back on Misfit Boxing in Dubai next weekend. Title fight status for Taylor Starling. She was doing her full-time thing, though, being around bare knuckle this past weekend in Florida. Big shout out to him, new bantamweight world champion. Austin Trout is in position to become a 2 division former BKFC champion. What he's doing with bare knuckle and now attempting to get that lightweight title to add it with the welterweight strap. Also on that card, there were a ton of other things that were impactful into the BKFC spectrum. Talked about La Zambra, Leonardo Perdomo, devastating uppercut, knockout. Christine Vicens back in the win column, now 5-1, took out Gogo Slavetsky, the former champion. That was also close lockdowns in the first 4 seconds, taking care of Jafar Fort. Stephen Townsend, 6-4, and for my money, his skill set keeps evolving. His open stance, he was able to get the knockdown, get up from a knockdown, bit down on the mouthpiece. The body work opened up Julio Perez Rodriguez, and then he gets the stoppage in the corner. Townsend, I saw the man go the distance with 2 broken hands. Now he's putting it all together. The veteranship in the BKFC ring, making him a dangerous contender. Ramiro Figueroa, it's a doctor stoppage, cutting open Howard Davis over what looked to be the right eye, and the ref makes the decision to call it off. Hopefully we get the Andrew Road, John Dotson title unification fight. G Pettis was the one that saw the road, and G already returning to the win column, a TKO in the 4th round, body shot to uppercut, takes care of Chancey Wilson and Rambo Russo. It was a tiny left hook intercepting the entry of Samples to get the 2nd round knockout. Huge developments at BKFC 85. Almost every fight moves one of those fighters forward into title implication. Russo, for my money, I think the 5th best bantamweight in BKFC, and especially something to build towards if you're going to make a Rambo Russo, possibly Justin Ibarola fight. Ibarola, big time there in Florida. Russo, same thing. Does Bekzad Usmanov, the big knockout victory over Keith Richardson, where does he play into the equation? I feel like there was a lot that happened more for the bantamweight division than just the new champion earlier on in the card. Christine Vicens getting back in the win column. We need more depth, more additions to that BKFC women's flyweight division. The more, the better. And it's going to be interesting to see what Taylor thinks about putting the gloves back on and what she's doing, going with the traditional boxing route coming up here, going with Misfits Boxing. So BKFC 85 next weekend. BKFC closing out the year. Fight O'Higgins. You get in that main event. I think that it's an opportunity then for Parker to start making a push towards a title shot in the new year. Hopefully, we start to get that heavyweight division actually going. I say make a push towards a title shot, but there's still a lot to be left to be known about when we get Roth versus Perdomo. Perdomo, it's in the BFC. There's not many experience Perdomo win that he had at this point. When do you see a carrot that the promotion has been dangling for oh so long? And I don't have any insider info. We'll ask Taylor if she's able to join us tonight. But what about the BKFC Knucklemania main event in July, in February? Perdomo, Rothwell, could that be the main event for Knucklemania? You most assuredly would think Mike Perry's going to be involved, but I'm craving the heavyweight division and BKFC. Got word for Taylor Starling. We were editing her all this happen. Looks like we will possibly get an interview with her, but we might need that happen. A special, a little able to join the show at this time. So here in a few minutes, though, still efforting Aiemann Zahabi. He said about 9:30 Eastern time. So we got 25 minutes. Aiemann Zahabi joins us, the top ranked KFC women's strawweight. Taylor Starling had an be pushed to later in the week. We'll talk about her Misfits Boxing opportunity and really get her thoughts on being a part of the growing sport from the media side. We're still going to have 2 guests, though. Aiemann Zahabi did like the message, and Nicholas just make sure and are on YouTube that he jump in. So actually, if you're a jump in, if you're watching this, get his thoughts on how that main event played out. Got to get on the division, and obviously the matchups that were announced, UFC 320. So a lot to with Aiemann Zahabi. As I was telling you guys, a huge kind of action. You had BKFC 85 that we've already been talking about, and you also had Karate Combat 58. And if you guys have not heard about this event, you missed the story this past week. I never did possible for an event to be delayed 5 hours and still happen. Yes, that's what happened at Karate at 58. Originally at 7 p.m. Eastern to 9, 11, 12 officially Florida. There was a event chatter online. The fight pit itself was late to arrive the venue, and then therefore there was an issue with setup. Real quick, guys, hold on one second. You're going to see a little bit of a visual as I look around my computer for something. Oh, something behind the scenes to make your production work. So the pit is late to show up in Florida. The show must go on. Karate Combat. One thing that we definitely comment on is it was a little strange by perspective to just leave people hanging. Weren't filling in the blanks. There was a delay. There was a promise that the show would go on. Sorry, everybody, about the unhappiness. Was trying to get something done over here to try to help broadcast, and it's not working so well. We're back. I'm spazzing. The internet is killing me. I'm getting my ass beat here much worse than anything I saw at Karate Combat 58. This is like, well, maybe, no, Sam Alvey got whooped worse than I am, but this internet is putting me over the fucking barrel right now. Aiemann Zahabi, number 7 ranked UFC, Bantamweight, Canadian MMA media member, still scheduled to join us here in a little bit. Nicholas Gjelaj, the Muay Thai phenom out in Thailand, representing the States, Kingdom Muay Thai, Jackson Winks, you know him from. We're going to still try to effort to have him on this episode, trying to make it happen for you. My fight show. I'm still randomly freeze. If you can hear me, though, we're going to try to make this happen. Karate Combat 58. So, I mean, they're delayed, so it's perfect to talk about the delay after the pit is finally erected. The event just takes a little bit over 2 hours. We never got explanation about why there was a lack of uh, filling in explanation. There was just a lack of consistency from the nose coming from promotion as people were waiting in the YouTube queue. People were trying to enjoy the event. There's a little bit of excitement around Karate Combat. You take out a lot of the groundwork and you're just there with the striking, and it's the most desirable part of what MMA fans are looking for. Sam Alvey survived early, was able to maintain distance in round 1, but Olympic bronze medalist Robles Desplain is able to close that distance in the second. It's a straight right hand down the pipe, a couple ground strikes that's allowed in Karate Combat as long it's all fair and good. When the fight is broken up, Alvey returned to his feet because there's only so much on the ground. If you start to incorporate a grappling scenario, then they reset you on the feet. And as Alvey's trying to get reset to his feet, he's wobbling across the octagon, or excuse me, the fight pit. And right there is when you knew things are about to get ugly. There's a big high kick, another knockdown, some more strikes landed. And Alvey, who himself is happy with the stoppage, who demanded to the referee to let him go out on his shield, is obliterated with one more high kick. Despain, the gold medalist in Taekwondo, is now the Karate Combat heavyweight champion. Does it in emphatic, statement-making fashion. Not sure who's going to be able to handle this man in that battlefield, in that rule set. Despain is incredible with his fast twitch, his grappling, getting put on his back. That was the whole problem in MMA, and that's not this game. This is something to go watch a knockout artist in element. The card also featured a huge upset as the fight win streak. So Larkin is no more. Valenete, a Dana White series alum, short left hook, and then he's able to really put the pedal to the second left hook, the stoppage, upset victory, shocking. Spartan just in the UFC, and then he's cut. He makes debut. He's battling bare knuckle veteran John Miller, gets into the clinch, an outside trip. The takedowns apparently are allowed in Karate Combat, and with the angular wall of the pit, that becomes a slamming surface that Miller's head gets stuck in between Barnett's body, Miller's head, meet that platform. Couldn't get up after the 10 count, a knockout victory for Chris Barnett in his Karate Combat debut. And Oscar Ramalana only needed 33 seconds to fold Brendan Jenkins in half. The PFL and UFC vet absolutely obliterated with a left high kick and a short right hand. A just devastating finish on the ground. Karate Combat delayed 5 hours, gets done in just over two after that, and produces some of the craziest knockout highlights you will see. And now they have one of the baddest heavyweight champions in combat sports. I'm not sure if there's a crossover possibility, but just off the top of my head, Dirty Boxing heavyweight champion Rosenzweig is a intriguing name to see the span go against, knowing his kickboxing pedigree. Here in a couple minutes, hoping to be joined by UFC Bantamweight, the number 7 ranked contender in the division, Canada's own gym, Aiemann Zahabi. This weekend, there's still action to be consumed. UFC Fight Pass is the place to watch it. Start with UFC BJJ Thursday night, triple header of title fights. 3 belts are on the line. The main Andrew Tackett, Elijah Dorsey, welterweight title bench for Tackett, kind of the poster boy of UFC BJJ right now. Well, Mikey Musumeci appears to be a free agent and really taking time to assess his options. Tackett defends his welterweight title against the promising challenger, making his BJJ debut. Very experienced competitor. Tackett probably having the advantage in passing and positional control. Will Dorsey brings a very dangerous guard, but overall, Tackett is your favorite for a reason, unless we think that Dorsey in the guard and dictate that play. It's going to be a tall order. Not just one tack, it's 2 tack on the card. Brother affair at William Tackett's taking on Roll Jr. in the inaugural UFC BJJ middleweight title fight. William, the older brother, considered a well-rounded submission artist, not that his brother is on the back. He threatened from many positions. Ronald Jr. is the more strategic, technical grappler of the two. You could call this a pick'em. I have slight favoritism towards Tackett coming in there with the emotional high and just kind of the momentum of that fight team. And your third of the title fights, well, the first one that you will see on the card, because in the feature fight position, Raul Canto versus Ariel Verne, featherweight championship. It's the inaugural bout for the belt. Kato is a veteran, experienced across the board. She's been doing the IBJJF circuit for a long time, a Vegas vet. I remember seeing her fight in Invicta, and for the Fight Pass Invitationals, she was a constant competitor inside of the UFC. Apex Laverne has shown marked improvements and is a live underdog, a willing body. You get UFC BJJ starting off the action for Fight Pass on Thursday night. And in all on Fight Pass, you also got Tough Enough 150 this week. That's Friday night. LFA UFC vet Jamal Pogues in the main event. You got WOW come Saturday on UFC Fight Pass. And our friends in Texas, Fury FC. You've seen a lot of Albuquerque locals and a lot of top prospects like Joshua Van, our new flyweight champion, come from that promotion. Again, they put in the work on Sunday across UFC Fight Pass, UFC Fight Pass, Facebook, their own Facebook, to watch all the prelims. If you just like a promotion that runs out back to back to back nonstop action, Fury FC is the event you're going to want to check out. If you're looking for some big time MMA, don't worry. The UFC is still here for one more week. UFC 112 Vegas from the Apex. I think there's still an opportunity for Manal Camp to upset the bout order to steal that number one contendership away from Tatsuya Taira with an impressive enough knockout coming off two in a row. If Camp gets it done against Vol, I think there's an opportunity for him to jump in to that spot to be the one to fight Joshua Van. Well, Alexandre Pantoja obviously nurses the injury and gets back in top form so he can push to try his title back. But before that UFC event happens, the PFL is back. We get the final PFL event of the year, but it truly feels like the second event of a new company. This is the PFL in Lyon. We have a world championship, their categorization or categorization. Bleh, easy for me to say. Two world title fights. Heavyweight champion. There's been a PFL season champion, tournament champion. There's been super fight champion. Now their first world heavyweight champion is crowned when the former Bellator light heavyweight champion Vadim Nemkov, protege of Fedor Emelianenko, well-rounded threat everywhere the fight goes. We've seen the stellar takedown defense, the ability to crush people on the fight. He faces Problema. And Ferreira, former season champion. Yes, last time we saw him, things didn't go his way against Francis Ngannou, but this is one of the biggest heavyweights in MMA. They don't call him a problem for nothing. 2023, he was the biggest problem in the PFL heavyweight division. Sharp tactical game, great inside low kicks, a disciplined distance management game, and strong defensive fundamentals from Nemkov. Ferreira is a first class PFL heavyweight. He is an agent of chaos, that big one punch knockout power from every limb, explosive surges, not a tactical long time fighter. He does have vulnerabilities. Being a big heavyweight, he will slow down. I think Nemkov is smart to drag this one out to try to keep this one at kicking range or get into that clinch and then just start to unbalance the much bigger Ferreira. I really do like Nemkov to start off this heavyweight division with his reign on top of it. The co-main event, we're also crowning an inaugural champion. This one is a PFL women's featherweight champion. Chris Cyborg has conquered from winning a UFC title to an Invicta title, a Strikeforce title. She won a PFL Super Fights title, the Bellator title. She now looks to win the world title in the PFL when she takes on the upset-minded, much younger, very violent Sarah Collins. Cyborg has had championships everywhere. We know lately she's been putting her focus towards traditional boxing and has been very successful. Yes, it's against lesser competition, but at her advanced age, staying active and competing across multiple combat sports, color me still to be impressed about Chris Cyborg. The Australian, unbeaten, pulled off a huge upset in her debut. She has not to be underestimated. If you've ever seen a Cyborg fight, you know you have to expect her to press, to throw heavy combinations, to look to get into the clinch. Collins must understand that. She is well rounded, composed, good grappling transitions. It's likely over 5 rounds. You have to tie up, wear down, and beat up Cyborg in that clinch and try to just use that physicality because you're not going to be able to stand there and trade with her early. The card will also feature a pair of PFL Europe tournament finals. Remember, PFL Europe going away after this year, their tournaments going away after this year, as their schedule is going to be incorporated into the Road to Dubai, larger global PFL ecosystem, upping that from 10 dates to 16 dates. So you get the France dates, the UK dates, the UK Bantamweight finals. Boris Adizel, 9-1. He takes on Dean Garrett, 14-3-1. You also get your European lightweight finals. Connor Hughes, Alexander Chiroz, who's 12-3. The action is started 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturday morning, the PFL from Lyon, as ESPN has a whole day of MMA going from that PFL event into your UFC from Vegas 112 event. Manel Camp and Brandon Royval, two of the best flyweights in the world, in the tiny octagon inside of the Apex, the final UFC event of the year. The full preview on that card available MMA After Hours over on cageminds.com and everywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have Pro Wrestling After Hours. This week, it's John Cena's final match, his retirement match from DC, and that one you can watch on Peacock. So we've been talking a lot of pro wrestling today. We're talking MMA, bare knuckle. Want to bring it back around to the MMA conversation because my next guest has popped into the chat. Can't wait to talk to this man. Number 7 in the Bantamweight division, Aiemann Zahabi.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
How you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Doing good here. Happy to hear from you.
That's awesome, man. How did you enjoy the fights this weekend? It was crazy, man. Those are
How
some
was the trip
crazy
back home?
fights. Oh, for me, it was great. Nice and easy, man.
You said it. This weekend was crazy. I think that my jaw just couldn't stop dropping when that main card started. Somewhere from the point that Jan Blachowicz got knocked down. After that, I just couldn't get my jaw off the floor.
Man, it was crazy how many finishes there were that night and how many drops and just so much drama. What an action-fueled card. The best way to end the pay-per-view of the year. It was incredible. I'm hoping this weekend lives up to last weekend.
Man, that's a tall order to do. I love these fight nights on the Apex because a lot of people bag on them, but I swear they fly under the radar, and it just seems like guys are hungry to make their name when they're on those cards.
Yeah, and sometimes the lower tier fighters give us great action regardless. Just maybe if they're not because they're not big names, they can't give us fireworks. I feel like those guys, like you said, they're hungry. They got something to prove. They want to show out. So, they take their opportunity and they give it their best. So I always like to watch those fight nights.
In lead up, you're there, you're doing media, I'm there doing media. Did you have any thought that Peter Yan could turn in the kind of performance he did?
Yeah, I did actually. I did some interviews that week and I told all the guys I couldn't believe the odds. I thought it was a 50-50 fight going in. How can he be a 4-1 dog? I don't understand. The guy has all the resources. He has the right coaching. He has, he's committed. He's in Thailand training all the time. I mean, he's surrounded by smart enough people to come up with a solid game plan. At the very top, it's a game of inches and any one of us in the top 10 can beat the other. So I don't like to count any of these guys out in these big fights.
Do you think that it was too much, 4 title fights in 1 year? None of us can be expected to have a champion do that. There's just too much wear and tear. 25 minutes and preparing for 25 minutes is such an endeavor.
Yeah, it's huge. I expected Marab to win. I asked him to do it for me, even if he didn't feel good or whatever. I really needed him to get that win for me, but I think in the end, 4 weight cuts is the issue. I don't think it's fighting 4 times. I think it's going through the grueling cut so many times. The bounce back in weight, then cutting again. Your body doesn't really get, the release of the stress between fights. If you're fighting so quickly back to back, I feel like there's an uncalculable amount of stress that your body goes through to get to the weight.
You bring up a good point. What does it feel like for you, like after the weight cut and in the weeks, like that week after the fight? Like, I know all the fighters want to pig out, but what does the body feel like as you're trying to do that weight balance to indulging in the foods that you've been missing?
So 6 out of my last 7 wins, I vomited after every weight cut. Every time I start to rehydrate and eat, I vomited 6 out of 7, man. Rehydrations. It's I don't know, just my stomach becomes so sensitive after the weight cut. It's like for me, it's a brutality. I don't know what it is. It's been good luck. I won 7 of 7. So listen, it's working for me. So I don't mind vomiting, but it would be nice to do without. And my performances have been good, but I've noticed that after each weight cut, I'm bouncing back higher. It's the first time I fight 3 times in a 365 days, and I noticed that my bounce backs were getting worse. So I'm happy now that, even though like my arm broke in the fight, it's kind of like a good little break for my body to recover from all the stress.
You look at the injury as a break, so that just speaks to the serious commitment that you need an injury to pull back a little for some rest time.
Yeah, I've got to look. I've got to like no choice at this point. The doctor told me he's like, look, he's like, if you come back too early, it's only gonna break again, and you're gonna be out for longer. So he's like, just be more conservative than you've ever been, and let's just get over this hump. Once you get over this hump, it's smooth sailing. It won't ever break in the same place again. But he's like, if you mess around and come back too early and you get your ego involved, he's like, we're gonna need another couple of months. He's like, if you want to fight quickly, he's like, just be patient. So I'm just kind of making peace with that and coming back easy, coming back slowly. So it's a forced break, but I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm trying to look at the bright side.
The last two fights have been in Canada. Do you feel the
Yeah.
momentum, the swelling, the fan base growing now that you've gone to get to different provinces under the UFC banner?
Yeah, honestly, it's been really good. Like, beating Aldo really put me on the map. I tell everyone it's my iceberg moment. It's 20 years of hard work, and finally, after beating him, I got all the recognition. People think I'm lucky now. But it's like I've been putting in the work for years, and then beating Cheeto just kind of like cemented my place. It was like the confirmation. It's like when you're looking at a financial chart and you have the breakout candle, but you're looking for that confirmation before you step in with both feet. And Cheeto was kind of the confirmation. And then now I'm looking to chase down that belt. I'd love to fight Peter Yan. I don't know if they're gonna give Marab the immediate rematch, if either of them got any injuries, if any of them, if they can bounce back and fight again or not. I need a few months still for myself. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to fighting, in the second quarter of the year, and hopefully squeeze in, 2 or 3 fights in 2026.
Not just that the title changed hands and there's probably a deserved rematch, but
Yeah.
Umar and Sean are both getting opportunities to again
Yeah.
impress almost their version of the contender series. Where do you think that leaves you matchup wise?
Yeah, well, right now the only person available is Corey, and then like depending on who wins on January 24th, like if O'Malley wins, I can see the UFC leading to give him a title shot because he beat Piotr Jan. If Song wins, they might give him. He's ranked ahead of me. I'm not sure. But if Song wins and he gets a title shot, I would love to fight O'Malley. Umar, if he wins, he might get the title shot. I don't think he's ever fought Piotr Jan before. Uh, I think Peter Yan beat Figgy, so I don't know if Figgy would get the shot if he wins. Like it's very confusing. Like there's no real MMA math. UFC does whatever they think is gonna sell the most. So I'm just hoping that my last couple of performances I've shown that I like to strike, and I like to, there's always drama in my fights, and I do my best to always try to, come back if ever I get behind. I'm not a quitter, and I fight with my whole heart, and I try to leave everything in there. And when it comes to, as the fight progresses, I only get more dangerous. So I'm hopefully they're taking that into consideration.
I got a feeling that they're going to run back the title fight, that with the amount of layoff that Peter normally likes, with how much time he takes off, and then how active Marab wants to be, I wouldn't be surprised if that one lines up and that we're looking at you fighting possibly Umar or Sean. I really think that's a possibility, with the other one kind of getting a backup role.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I thought I saw today. either a tweet or a post of Marab saying he wants to come back early. Like he's saying like I think March or April, and then like Peter Yan usually waits longer, right? So Marab might get one in before Peter's ready. Like like Marab, he's a machine. He can't stay away from fighting. It seems it's not a bad thing. I mean that as a compliment. Like it's crazy to see how active he stays. It's just maybe he'll even get to squeeze in one before his rematch. I don't even know.
Are there those times where your brother's throwing you out of the gym?
Yes, of course, lots of times, lots of times. It's hard to take time off the gym because you're worried about all these other guys outworking you. Now especially in the top 10, everybody works so hard. So it's like, man, sometimes I want to be in there longer than I should be, and then Frost kicks me out. Yeah, of course.
Is there is there almost like an anger, but an understanding that comes from that, from being the fighter that wants to be in there, wants to be working constantly, but sometimes you have to listen to those people around you that are saying, this isn't in your best interest right now, slow it down?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like kind of like my doctor who did the surgery is a longtime friend. I know him for like 15 years. He's been coming to TriStar. And like, he gave me a real like stern talking to in the sense because he knows how fighters are. We'll tell the doctors, yeah, 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 I'm not training, but then we're really gonna go behind their backs and train. But he's got eyes and ears in the gym, and people are willing to rat me out just to make sure that I get healthy quick. So it's kind of funny how that works. And I actually interviewed Kayla Harrison on Friday, and she has the same mindset as me. She acknowledges that MMA really is a team sport. Your friends, your family, your teammates, the staff, the coaching staff. They really look out for you, and they keep you grounded in a way. If you've really got a good support and a really good team, um, they tell you the truth, and at the end you fight alone in the cage, but you don't get there alone, right? So it's like I'm happy to have people who are willing to tell me the truth, and I'm not surrounded by yes men. So yeah, sometimes it's hard to hear that I gotta take it easy, but I know that they all want to see me succeed.
Is it a hard process to find that inner circle, to find the people that you want to listen to, that you can truly understand, or having your best interests at heart with the advice that they're giving?
Yeah, definitely, it's not easy. And like my best advice, every time somebody asks me, "What's your best advice for a young fighter or someone who's thinking about crossing, doing MMA, crossing over from another sport or something?" I tell them, look, the most important thing is the team that you build around you. Because if the team around you, they're not actually faithful to you and your dream, and they're not going to tell you the truth, if you surround yourself with snakes and rats and the weasels are out there to make a quick buck, you're not going to go very far in this game. You're going to get burnt, And I've seen a lot of guys, in my 25 years at TriStar, 20 years at TriStar, that a lot of guys have been taken advantage of, and they've been giving wrongful advice so that the person that's on their team can benefit, and it's happened recently to a guy who used to train at TriStar, change teams. He got screwed over by his coach for some money, and then now he left that team and came back to TriStar. And it's just like, at first, when you have a lot of potential, everybody wants to be nice to you, but just because they're nice doesn't mean they're good. And the only way to really figure that out is during the bad times. So whenever bad times come around in your career, don't see them as a bad thing, see them as a good way to figure out who's truly there for you, and then you can really refine your team. That's kind of how you got to see it.
This weekend, we got to see a lot of craziness. We brought up a couple of the craziness. We also got to see a fond farewell to a two-division legend. Like, what does that do from a fighter's perspective as you're there watching the last stand of Henry Cejudo? And there were many a points where it looked like you could go down, you could end this fight, and the dude is just giving every percent of effort that he still had left.
Yeah, with Henry Cejudo, you know, leading up to the fight, I told people like I don't know how motivated he is. Like I don't know how much he's been training, and I didn't think he was gonna win. On paper, he's the better fighter. He's got the legacy. He won two belts. He defended both belts. Like not many two division champions defend both belts. He's got a great, incredible legacy. but I just think he's so busy with his podcast. He's so popular. He's done so much. I didn't, how much could he have trained? And then everyone else is catching up in the background. But his competitiveness, his heart, his mindset, his determination to make it to the last bell, was never gonna be missing, right? So it kind of made sense, that performance. I don't think he was doing the skill work like he should have been for a fight of that magnitude, but I don't think you can ever break a guy like him. I don't think he's ever gonna quit in there. The guy has an incredible legacy, and even though he lost, he should be remembered for being one of the greatest flyweights of all time, and someone who can defend a flyweight belt and a bantamweight belt consecutively at the same time. An incredible achievement. He should go down as a legend in MMA, and I'm sure we're gonna see him in the Hall of Fame. I'm happy he made, last on his last fight, he made 3 checks. He got his win, he got his show, and he got a bonus from Dana White. So I'm happy for him in that sense, and it's kind of sad to see him leave on a loss, but I'm sure he's gonna be happy in his retirement.
You see that eloquent response, people? That is why not just fighter number 7 in the world, but also one of the top MMA Canadian media members right now, Aiemann
Thank
Zahabi.
you. Yeah, thank you, man. It's the truth. You gotta glorify these guys. So many people try to tear them down, but they've accomplished so much. You can't just base it off this last few fights for him.
You're chomping at the bit. I know it already. They can't keep you out of the gym. Ideally, recovery, everything goes best. What's the timeline for you stepping back in the octagon?
Yeah, my arm is only like at 75% healed right now. So I'm just trying to get into full training. That's really my goal now. I've got to be able to spar again and wrestle again, and that's not something I'm able to do. So maybe April or May. It's looking later than I like. I got my X-ray done on the Wednesday, December 3rd, and I didn't get the result that I wanted to. I wanted the green light to go 100%, and I didn't get it. So I'm kind of disappointed in that sense. So I was hoping for to come back in March or April, but now it's looking more like end of April, May. So it's a forced break, but I'm gonna do my best to make sure that when I do come back, I have a great performance. The fireworks, I want those fireworks again. I love the drama. I love going there and having a wild fight that keeps people on the edge of their seat.
And we've loved to see those last couple fights. Aldo, Chito Vera, they've been some epic ones, climbing up the ladder, bringing another contender back to Canada, and making Helwani run for his money, as it looks like now he has a evil twin version who can beat people up.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to thank Aiemann for the time tonight, for helping us talk about UFC 323, update us on where his career is going. I know that you're a busy guy. I didn't want to take up too much of your time tonight, sir. I appreciate you greatly.
No, I appreciate you, man. Hey, thanks for having me on, and let me know if ever you want to do this again, man. I always have a great time coming on with you.
It's been my pleasure, and I'm definitely bringing you on probably. We'll talk around UFC 324, get your thoughts on that big card coming up.
All right, bud. Have a great night.
From Aiemann Zahabi, number 7 rank bantamweight in the UFC, to now we're truly going to go worldwide, all the way to Thailand. He's been patiently waiting. I promise we're going to run late tonight and let him talk as long as he wants. Here comes Nick Gjelaj.
Oh, I'm in here. Let's go. What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, how you doing, sir? How's it been?
Good, man. Good. I've just been out here in Thailand fighting for, I want to say I've been here almost 6 months now, and I have a fight on Sunday.
You have a fight on Sunday. You've been there for 6 months, and I just real quick want to get this out of the way. And the plan is to be
Yeah.
there, what, 2, 3 years?
So I right now have a active 15-month visa that I just got, and I can't leave the country on the visa. So I'm definitely locked in for 2 years, and yeah, I don't plan on leaving. That's for sure.
How did things work out? Take me back, what, 6 months ago, 8 months ago? What was the plan? How did this start coming together? You had told me there were some whispers about you, Gailan, but how does this come together?
So it kind of started off all after I fought in Coalition. Um, Mark Enberg's promotion, and he invited me to come out into his gym, and then we talked a little bit, and uh, yeah, he was nice enough essentially to have the idea and sponsor me to the Ghost brand sponsor me to come out here, and I haven't looked back since. So the opportunity was presented to me, and I know I had to grab it.
What did they set you up with to send you out to Thailand? Are you set up with a gym, with a hostel? Like, how much preparation goes into planning to go out there? Because I know you would just show up with a bag of clothes and a bag of fight gear if that's what needed to be done.
Yeah, no, I definitely would. But I originally started training at Sityo Tong, and that was the original plan. But I've actually bounced around to a couple gyms. I was over at Fairtex a little bit. Now I'm over at a gym called FMT in Bangkok, and yeah, I'm a sponsored fighter out here, and I live in the gym, and they make the meals and they take care of you and everything, and then yeah, you just fight. Just stay in the gym and fight all the time. I think this is my fourth fight in 2 months. Um, for just being at this gym particularly. So they're always pumping fights out. But I had to gym hop a little bit just to find like a right fit for me. So there was a plan. It was like a loose plan that could have been changed and shaped depending on how I felt. Nothing was written in stone. But yeah, I mean, right, yeah, right now I just got a backpack of clothes with me though, and some gear. So it wasn't too far off from the truth. But I had a lot of help though to get me out here, no doubt. I couldn't have done it on my own.
If you go to the Instagram page, it's Nikki Fights is where you can follow this man, his incredible journey. It's really cool to see you on posters from Thailand and see highlights of a third round main event knockout.
Yeah, so I fought at Rajadamnern last, which is one of the biggest stadiums out here. It's top two for sure. Rajadamnern and Lumpini. And he was a one championship fighter. And I fought him in the main event, and he was really, really good. He definitely put it on me in the beginning, and I had to come back, and then I was able to find the knockout. But he was one of the better guys I've ever fought. And sorry, my bad. But um, yeah, he was one of the better guys I fought. He really tested my skill, and I was fortunate enough to come out with the knockout. There was a ton of people there, and it was a cool experience. It's really electric at Rajadamnern. It's definitely an experience. It's like this sphere where they have like a dome of like LED visuals and stuff, and it's definitely a fan favorite place to go in Bangkok for sure.
There are some of the most ridiculously incredible arenas to compete in that area, as you talk about the elements, the different light boards, just everything. Like, how
Oh yeah.
giddy have you been just to be out there to be able to do this? For you, I truly know people talk about, but this is living your dream.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's a dream come true. You know, as a kid, I used to always watch fights at Rajadamnern and Lumpini, and it seemed far away. Like, because you know the guys that were there were so good, and I was young at the time and nowhere near that skill level. But I was always so infatuated with it. So it's cool that I've now fought at both Lumpini and Rajadamnern, and the promotion I'm fighting on this weekend is Thai Fight, which Thai Fight is a very big promotion out here. It's fought with ropes. I don't know if you've ever seen it as wraps. And Sanchai fights on it. Who's a very famous, probably the most famous Muay Thai fighter. It's yeah, it's crazy. It's just like the knockout rate is insane. I think they weigh 4 ounces, so it's like an MMA glove in a way. It's like traditional Muay Thai. It's called card check, and yeah, it's devastating. So I'm looking to go out there, put the pressure on this guy, and get another finish. I have 3 knockouts in a row right now. So I'm looking to make it a fourth.
What has it been about the training that you're getting out there or how you're developing that has increased that knockout rate, that violence that you're producing?
Yeah, so actually in every single professional Muay Thai fight that I've had a knockdown in. Um and I was never a power puncher, and my entire amateur career I barely had any knockouts. So to go from that to like a 90% professional KO rate or something like that, it wasn't necessarily something that I started to do technically. It was more different. I felt like I've been technically proficient for a while. My mentality changed more where like I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna start walking them down and trying to knock them out. Like people say, don't force knockouts and don't look for them, but man, ever since I started doing that, I started finding them. So because before I had a win on points mentality, and then I switched it to kind of like just really going for it, taking risks, and and just being out here has made me hungry to want to make it. And I've just been just fighting very ferocious, just because I've been at it a long time and I want to, be successful. It was a mentality switch more than anything.
With the visa you have, with the rate you're fighting, do you have a number yet in mind of how many fights you think you could potentially have in that next 15 months?
Uh, yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot. Like I've been fighting twice a month. Um, and then before that, it was once a month. So I I think it all depends on what promotions you go into, but yeah, I could probably fight around 20 to 25 times in that time period if everything goes right. But I'm looking my goal 100% is to get into one championship, and I'm according to the managers and promoters I'm very close.
And here you
So
are, you're fighting that much, that often. What does it do to just make you more comfortable in the experience of battle?
Yeah, no, it's a real thing, you know, like if when you just keep putting yourself out there, it takes away the big grand feeling of like, oh, this is such a big deal. And I don't do, like, if you fight 3 times a year, it's like, think if you only do something 3 times a year, every single time, it's a big deal. You get nervous. It's all on the line. You know, if you lose, you got to hold that feeling for 3 months, or whatever. But when you fight, and everyone's like that over here. Everybody fights every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's super normal. I'm not special in that way. And what it does is it just takes that special feeling away in a good way. Like you want to fight like it's like every day to you. Like you want to fight like it's easy, like it's like breathing. You don't want to make it big deal, big deal, big deal, because then you fight not as well. You know, it's like performance is done better with a calm focus. You know, and that's what you get from fighting a lot. And it's weird, like when you fight all the time, I mean, when you don't fight all the time, the timing of a fight is weird. The intensity is unusual. You could try to replicate it in sparring, but it's not the same. I'm sure you've heard a million fighters say sparring's not fighting. And so that's kind of like, yeah, that. So when you fight, you kind of get better at the fight timing, the fight power, the fight quickness, the fight eyes, and because it's all unique to that experience. So you're not gonna get good at fighting unless you're fighting. Um, and then you reach a point where you get to a high enough level where you don't have to do, like, a UFC champion doesn't have to fight once every 2 weeks to still be the best. But I think the effect that it has is very valuable. But it is hard though. It is hard. I mean, it's hard on the body, no doubt.
This experience, I know for you, it had been built up so much. Is it what you expected?
No, no, it wasn't what I expected. But I also didn't know what to expect really, because I've never really fought out here, and I had a little bit of an idea of what I thought was going to go down, but Thai culture took a little bit of adapting to, and just being in it and how they process things and how they do things definitely took a little bit getting used to. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, backstage, you're just next to your opponent. They talk to you. You guys just hang out, sit next to each other. Like, this is backstage. Like, you're about to fight. You guys are getting your hand wraps together, warming up together. Like, and so it's like that culture change, right? Because America, it's always, like there's separated rooms, and there's not all the time animosity, but there's always tension, right? Where it's like these Thai fighters don't feel that tension. So it's like you kind of have to, like, you're in their home, right? So you got to accept their culture and do it. So you got to smile with them, you got to hang out with them. But that took some getting used to, especially when you want to get into a mode of like, I got to knock this guy out. That's just one of 1,000 examples of Thai culture that shocked me a little bit at first. Or spicy food. That's another one. But uh,
Was the food, what was the hardest adjustment for you? Was it that food?
it was so the we get cooked for every day, right? The lady who runs the whole gym, she's kind of the head of it. She cooks and just kind of makes sure everything's going right in the gym, and she just cooks spicy food every day. And I'm starting to get used to it a little bit, but it wasn't without pain. you know, it's hot. Thai food's hot, very hot.
What else have you done besides fighting? Have you just stuck to the gym? Have there been any excursions? Have you won and done anything fun?
Okay, so this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but no, I just train and fight, and I just sit down and I don't really explore, and I don't live like a touristy lifestyle. Like I'm here to get into one championship and be a very high level fighter. I'm not really here to have fun. Like I had to sacrifice like everything to be over here, my whole home, everybody that I know and stuff. And it's motivated me a lot to want to make it, but there's like in my head there's like no room for anything else. I did get told that one or two good more performances I could be potentially looking at going into one championship. So I'm super close, and there's no guarantees in the fight game. But when you get told stuff like that, um, it means you're in a good spot. And one championship is the highest level of Muay Thai in the world. Um, maybe let me reframe that, because there's traditional Muay Thai and then there's one championship. One big glove stadium Muay Thai is very high level technical. It's kind of like a different sport. But one championship is just very just popular and and world known and highest paying. So it's all super high level, but one championship is where I want to go just for my career and my life. So, and you have to knock a ton of people out, and you got to fight all the time. You got to put all this work in, and I've been doing that. So I just want to keep the momentum going. So I haven't been doing anything.
Have you been able to learn the language? Because I know that you like to make jokes. You like to be chatty. I'm sure you found a
Yeah,
way to translate the personality already.
yeah. I'm definitely able to do it a little bit with them. Just through mannerisms and just knowing a few words, but I'm learning more and more every day. Uh, I don't know too much yet, but I'm learning. I'm learning. I take lessons too. It's a part of the visa, so little by little. I do understand that I'm not in my country. I'm in their country, and it's not up to them to know English. It's up to me to learn Thai. So I've been trying to do that as much as possible. I slack on it a little bit though, but
He's out there doing big things, chasing his dream, getting in fights all the time. At least it's in a ring, though, everybody. It's in a ring, so he's doing it the right way. It's good to
yo,
see you again. It's good to see you
it's good to see you.
smiling and thriving, my friend.
Yes, sir. Nice talking to you, man.
It's been great getting to talk to you. Remind everybody again, you got to fight in a couple days. Is there a stream for us to catch that one on?
Yeah, so it's Thai Fight on YouTube. Thai Fight, simple. It starts at oh, if you feel like getting up, starts at 4 a.m. Albuquerque time and 6 a.m. Eastern time. So no worries if nobody wants to watch that, but it is at 4 a.m. for all the people who want to.
Be kind of early, everybody, but it's on YouTube, so I'm sure it'll be saved and you can go back and watch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. It's saved, and first whenever you wake up in the morning, you could check it out, and you don't have to look at the result, and it could be like it was live.
He's Nick July. I promise we'll have him back on. 15 months is a long time. He's going to be out on Thailand, out in Thailand. And as soon as you get that one fighting contract, you got to let me know when that happens. I know it'll be a big moment for
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Always good talking to you.
Well, sir, we're going to be getting out of here. Thank you for joining on My Fight Show. This is episode number 5. And Nick, you have a great day out there training.
Thank you. Thank you. See ya.
Everyone that stuck with us through the show. The internet was a little bit challenging tonight. We may be changing up some equipment, trying to do a couple things. This is My Fight Show. We're talking everything in the fight universe. It's coming together slowly but surely. I am super appreciative of Katherine Lindenmuth coming on, giving us an update on what's going on with her in the WIBA and her world title. We're going to catch up with Taylor Starling. That will be happening this week. Nick Gjelaj doing big things in the world of Muay Thai. And of course, Aiemann Zahabi on the brink of title contention in the UFC Bantamweight division. Don't forget UFC BJJ 4, PFL Lyon, UFC Vegas 112 this weekend, cageminds.com to have all the coverage. Again, thank you to Talk ABQ. Check me out Saturday, ESPN Radio, Albuquerque, 1017 The Team, part of Mike Adams 2.0. MMA After Hours is already up. And tomorrow, we're going to be dropping Pro Wrestling After Hours. Going to be Continental Classic and John Cena's last match. The Sting meet and greet this Saturday, Duke City Toys, Duke City Championship Wrestling, December 27th, last lights. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody have a good night. This was My Fight Show.